Welcome to Sport Mode News. We'll be covering all the things you need to know about latest Sport Mode changes and updates. There exists a Sport Mode roadmap which the community can view and see the progress of different updates and things that will be added in the later future. Today, I'm going to be going over almost each and every one of them, speculating and theorizing about what they can be and what also should be added. Without further ado, let's dive right into the roadmap. So in the roadmap there exists multiple categories. The one we're going to be focusing on right now is the 0.6.1. Now the 0.6.1 update is going to be a relatively small update unlike the 0.6. It's going to have 3 things of interest that we will be inspecting. Starting off with the first one, they're going to increase the silencer and laser sight limit to 4. What that means is 2 Ethers and 2 MK18s can now have laser sights and silencers without breaking the limit, instead of 1 Ether and 1 MK18 or 2 Ethers or 2 MK18s. Up next we have the fixed head collider. Now we don't really know what this means, but I think I have a few theories and ideas. It might be the head's collision hitbox. Since the head is practically immovable, it becomes a wrecking ball which can destroy any dummy with ease. I think they plan to fix the head, make it more bouncy and movable to any outside force. Our last one is a huge win for the Sport Mode community. Ever since the 0.6 update, people have been divided whether they like the new models or don't like the new models. But now they're going to be planning to bring them back in the form of the Invincible and Ragdoll, so now we have the best of both worlds. Personally, I would have liked it better if there was an options in the options menu, allowing you to turn them into the old models or the new models with a flick of a switch. But alas, we have this. It's better than nothing. So that is it for the 0.6.1 update. A relatively small update, but it'll keep the game going. Now that we have taken a look at the 0.6.1, let's take a look at some of the other things that the roadmap has to offer. Everything shown here will be added in future updates. So let's take a look at some of the things in the ag group. Starting off with new weapons. First up on the weapons list is the banana gun. Now, we don't know much about the banana gun. There's only a screenshot of it, so we can only speculate on what it can do. Personally, to me, it looks like more of a shotgun type weapon. It's probably going to fire a lot of shots. I'm not sure if it's going to be rapid fire though. So what do you guys think? Write down in the comments what you think the banana gun is going to do. Up next we have the grenade. Now, we already know what a grenade does. You pull the pin, you throw it, then it explodes. Pretty simple, so nothing much to cover here. Up next we have the bow and arrow. Once again, like the grenade, we already know how bow and arrow works. Place an arrow in, pull back the string, and the arrow fires at pretty high speed. It's probably going to be a pretty powerful weapon. It's going to be a one-shot headshot kill. It might be a one-shot body shot kill too. Up next we have C4, or remote explosives. Now this weapon has a ton of potential. No longer will we need crowbars with thrusters going into explosive barrels. Instead, we have simple C4 and an explosive switch. So if we press in the switch, will cause the C4 to explode. Up next, the lever action rifle. Now this weapon is probably going to be one of Sport Mode's first actual snipers. It's going to have pretty high shot speed, long range, and super good accuracy. It's probably going to have one-shot headshot kills, and it's probably going to have 2-shot body shot kills. Now, there's only 2 more categories I want to cover for today's episode. Let's start off with an interesting one, vehicles. Now, we can already make lots of vehicles in Sport Mode, but they're all handcrafted, all primitive, not pre-built. So they're pretty clanky at times. But for this category, it looks like we have RC drones and RC cars. Now, this poses an interesting question. Will we have cameras in Sport Mode? I would really love to see cameras in Sport Mode, like some sort of tablet you can connect to the cameras like a thruster remote to a thruster. And then the camera tablet will show what the camera is seeing. Same thing with the RC drone and the RC car, they're going to have cameras on it, and then perhaps there's a controller attached to the camera tablet. And then we can see what's going on as we move the RC car around with the controller. Same thing with the drone too. Now the last one is pretty interesting. Hovercraft vehicle. This one kind of speaks for itself. It's a literal hovercraft vehicle. It's probably going to go super fast. I'm not sure about its turning speed though. It might have seats for multiple people. But overall, this one is mostly in the dark. The last category I want to cover is NPCs. First off, we have the sword enemy. Now, I'm really hoping that the sword enemy isn't just going to be a regular melee dummy with just a sword. I'm hoping it'll do 2 attack points damage and can block shots sometimes. Also, I'm really hoping it can parry your melee attacks. Now, the second one is definitely the most mysterious one. Non-humanoid NPC, aka something that does not walk on 2 legs. Now, this one is open for a lot of speculation. My 2 best ideas for what this could be is a spider robot or a tripod. Now, a spider robot's probably going to be relatively small, something that crawls around, something you can have to deal with yourself. That's going to be pretty annoying. They're going to be spawned in like swarms of some sort. Overall, they're going to provide a lot of variety to the robot enemies. Now, the tripod could be some sort of a mini box. It's going to have its own spawn point, and it's going to stand relatively tall. It might have 3 to 4 guns on it, which means it's going to fire relatively fast, and dish out a lot of damage. So make sure to bring your shield while fighting this. You might even need to chop off its legs to be able to get to its head, which is the weak point. Overall, those are 2 of my ideas for the non-humanoid NPC. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Sport Mode News. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more of this content. And I'll see you guys in the next video!